edge. We can't. We might fall. Come to the edge. We can't. It's too high. Come to the edge. And they came, and she pushed, and they flew. Today has been quite a long time in the making. You might think that it all just happens, but of course it doesn't. So it's a culmination of a whole series of focus groups that met across the country in 2011, where women from Christian and Muslim faiths came together to ask each other what are the key issues facing both Christian and Muslim women in their particular areas.
She needs to have a real hope, a real belief in humanity, in herself, in others. She needs to act in faith.
Why is it so important for women to get together and have some of the discussions that we've been having today?
Because our voices just aren't heard, and I think they're particularly not heard in interreligious dialogue. I look at all the people I know working in that field, and really it's a field dominated by men, concerned with men's interests, often concerned on doctrinal issues which I think are important, and I don't want to underestimate that. But really, for most of us, our religion matters in the fabric of our daily lives. And for women, our questions of how does our religion help us to live as mothers, in our places of work, in our relationships and marriages, those are the real questions that I think most people ask of their faith. And I think to talk together about those questions in a safe, private environment as you've created here is really important.
I think Birmingham is so diverse, culturally, racially. We all different shades of brown, different shades of white even, and nobody really understands each other. We're all just, as it was mentioned, we're all living parallel lives. And I think just an opportunity like this encourages people like us that attend to go out there and maybe ask questions and not to make judgments and things. So.
It is really important for women to come together in an interfaith context. I think if we're thinking about Bradford particularly, because if not, often women won't participate in mixed circles, so that's a barrier. But actually, aside from that, even if that was possible, I would still want to have women-only spaces. I think we come from a different place, we play different roles, and there's a lot of challenges that we're facing out there in the big wide world that we need to perhaps resource ourselves and support each other to be able to go out and take on those challenges. So I think it's really important, and also I just love it.
When women come together from different backgrounds, or in this case from different faiths, it is very, very powerful, and I think what it does is it allows us to have a space where people can speak freely in a way that they maybe can't normally. And certainly a number of ladies have said to me that they feel that some of the things I said, but also some of the things they've been able to then ask and discuss in their own groups.
We've talked about our localities, we've talked about the difference between the cities we come from, and we've talked about the similarities. We've talked about mental health issues that cross-cut faith, culture and gender. We've talked a lot about gender, we've talked what we can do in the future, and we've talked about what we're already doing. But really we've just made friends.
Plastered the city centre with green ribbon. We gave people green ribbons to wear around their wrists. We tied them on the trees, on the railing. And the day the EDL came, we were not physically present, but our voices, even though they were silent, were heard.
I don't believe that women do not have a voice. I think women have a voice, and a very loud one at that too. I think they don't always have a platform. So we need to provide a platform. Why? Because the mother is the nurturing element. She nurtures future generations. Whether we like it or not, whether we work outside or at home, eventually we do come back home and we are the mother. We are, we have children, and we bring our children up according to how we understand. So a qualified, educated mother is a mother who rears communities.
I feel that so many pockets of people who've got such experience and expertise, and because we're living parallel lives, we're not sharing them and engaging them in our community. So we have just found the most amazing group of people from Birmingham. Thank you. You've set our group up for us, which could have taken a couple of years to do.
We have to get to grips with this type of work because we have to begin to break down some of the prejudices and stereotypes that are so prevalent in our society at the moment. So we keep each other at a distance because of the fear. Maybe it's the fear of saying the wrong thing, or maybe it's fear of difference. But we have to learn to be inquisitive, curious, and to celebrate the other. And I think part of that is part of what this conference is really about.
And often women are speaking and are saying things and are communicating stuff, but it's not heard in the sense that the media don't pick it up. It's not the dominant story. It's not the dominant story. Tends to be the louder voices that get heard.
You know, obviously Muslim women are very much in the spotlight, if you like, in terms of scrutiny and questioning, but actually a lot of the issues that we see in Muslim communities are also happening elsewhere. And this idea that, you know, a lot of our institutions and organisations are very much male dominated clearly is not just a Muslim issue, although we know obviously that's a very big thing for us. It's happening elsewhere as well, and I think hearing some of the other people speaking and even the really insightful comments and in the workshop scenarios just makes me realise A, that we need to carry on doing what we're doing, and B, there just needs to be more of this. There's something very powerful about bringing people together from other places, I think.
Could be standing here and encouraging and empowering all these women to higher education. Oh, speeches. It's all so much hot air. Watch. On the contribution of my right honourable friend, the member for Sedgefield.
We have to be very honest. Our political and religious leadership is weak and very fragmented, and we don't have those structures. I mean, if you look at the Church of England, you know, you have you have a clergy system, don't you? We don't have that. So who do we go to when we seek advice? It's going to be the local mosque. Now, if the local mosque does not entertain women, well, you've closed the gates immediately. Absolutely, and that does happen. In many communities, mosques are not accessible for women. Nobody disputes what the Quran says, but you've got to contextualize that to the needs of the community today. We're not living 1500 years ago, and we're not living in Pakistan, India, and Sri Lanka. We're living in the United Kingdom, and we need to resolve the situation of our home.
The most important challenge for most women is the stand up and be counted challenge, because we've got so many other things to do, most of us, that it's very easy to focus on the local and not be willing, either because there's pressure from other places or because we think, what's my voice going to be heard, or it's not going to be heard, or it's not going to make a difference, or and to actually do the standing up. And together, one of the things I mentioned in one of the groups was the huge privilege of the women of faith, and one or two of no faith at all actually, in Jerusalem, who stand every Friday in silence to say justice matters.
It was amazing because you start talking to different people and you find how ignorant you are sometimes. It's just, you know, you find out about themselves. You actually forget about everything. You forget about religion, belief, anything. You're just two people talking about yourselves, which is what, yesterday the conversation for the soul was just fantastic about listening. And I remember Peter and me, I've just made this beautiful relationship connection. And as we were leaving, she just said, I love you people. Yeah. I can't wait to meet you again. I mean, she's in London, in Birmingham, but this is what this conference has given us.
Even if it only just happened to us, it's been worth it.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we've asked a lot of questions.
We haven't got all the answers.
Oh, I don't think we're supposed to have all the answers. Right. So what are we going to do now?
Let's put the kettle on.